Matt here with Frank's Great Outdoors. We're going to talk a little bit today about colors of choice, jigs of choice, and even techniques of choice of fishing on the Saginaw River. You can also use these down on the Detroit River as well. They're going to be a little bit more geared towards the Saginaw River since we do deal with changes in condition on the Saginaw River a little bit more frequently than maybe on the Detroit River. So we'll get started in with color choices, kind of as these conditions change throughout the year, whether we get rain or snow melt, different things like that that can influence current and color of the water. So we'll start off with conditions that we're actually in right now on the Saginaw River, which is very minimal distance of view in the water. Clarity is very poor right now. So a couple techniques I like to use is I like to use a jig head that's going to be brighter with kind of like an orangish red body, something that stands out in that darker water a lot nicer. Also, I like running stuff with a paddle tail. It just helps create a little bit of more vibration in that water, just something so that walleye can target on and find a little bit easier, especially in those dirty water. Couple other things that people like to use as well is that helps with those vibrations again is something like these Google Eye rattle jigs. Again, just helps with causing that vibration in the water to attract the walleye. Now, as this water starts to clear up a little bit more and you start moving from 6-8 inches of visibility to now you're getting to that foot and a half visibility. We can jump into jigs that are a little bit on the chartreuse side, some of your brighter blues, something like this that will still be noticed in the water, easier to see. Again, I still like to run a paddle tail just for that added vibration. Then as our water conditions go and we start getting into a lot cleaner stuff where we're now into 2, 3, even 4 plus visibility of conditions for the water, I like to move into something that's going to be more of a kind of goldish head or even more silverish head and more of a natural style color of bait. That's more or less what they're going to be looking on to feed. Again, I like to run paddle tails personally, but even at this stage, a lot of your fork tails work as well. So we do have the Frank's custom fork tail, or you can also run your Lunker City finesse minnows. They work really well. And another paddle tail that seems to work really well for me and quite a few other people out there is going to be your Walleye Assassin paddle tails as well. Now we can move into jigs. I prefer the jig heads like your Neon Moon Eye jigs by VMC, or the Northland Deep V jig. My personal reason for why I like these is they do not have the large collar on them for your bait holder. So when I'm referring to your large collar, you can kind of see on this jig head here how it just has the wire keeper to hold your bait on, versus some of your other traditional style jig heads that have the lead molded piece for your jig holder. The reason why I like to have the wire style one is so you're not splitting your baits. Sometimes those collars are so big that they end up actually splitting the head of the bait and it doesn't stay on your jig as well. So that's why I like to run the wire style stuff. You aren't experiencing the splitting and it seems to hold on your jig a lot better than on the molded style ones. Again, also when it comes to some of that dirty water, I like to run some of the live bait rigs. So you got Northland's Fireball jigs. I like to run a real minnow. It's hard to beat in that dirty water. Just gives that extra added scent, flavor, kind of sitting down in the water column. Sometimes seems to outdo some of those plastics that little bit better. And then for some of you guys out there that maybe just want to change things up, don't want a vertical jig, you want to do a little bit of casting, or you want to change things up a little bit, you can go ahead and cast any of these jigs with these paddle tails and kind of drag them across bottom or give them a little pop, get them up off the bottom a little bit. You can cast them up onto flats, different things like that where you're getting up out of the currents. The walleye like to sit up there, and also it kind of changes your techniques up a little bit and kind of gives you an extra added change And some other things that you can try as well is going to be some of your blade baits. I got one here by Reef Runner, they're cicada, and then I also have one here by Spro. These work really well at casting off large vibrations. Again, a very attracting feature to the walleye. Works well in some of your dirtier water conditions as well. So these are just a few techniques of stuff that I like to run. The baits I have featured here on the jig heads is going to be a lot of your Kitech paddle tails. I really personally like these. They're very soft, seem to run really well in the water, and they also are scented, so that works really nice as well. Hopefully these techniques here that I kind of discussed with you helps you in narrowing down some of the different things you want to run, and also can help you break down that water condition a little bit better, and kind of helps you choose what color baits you want to run. And hopefully everything goes good for you out there on the water. So good luck and good fishing.